Hey guys, Daquan Henry here with another market update video where my goal is to give you all the information on what's going on right now in the real estate market in the GTA so you can decide if now is a good time for you to buy or sell real estate. So let's hop into it. As expected, there are a lot of people who are optimistic about what's going on in the market, citing how there are lower amount of sales and a lower amount of active listings that's creating a little bit more competition for buyers, which then could lead to prices leveling off or balancing in the later half of the year. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm not too confident that is exactly true, but let's review the data together and you can let me know what you think. Here are those year-over-year stats comparing the market from last year, July, to this year. The total amount of transactions or sales that have happened in July hasn't really changed compared to 2025. The total amount of new listings that have come to the market is down quite a bit, almost 18%. And at the same time, the total amount of active listings currently on the market is also down double digits. Essentially, what's happening here is the supply or the amount of homes coming up for sale and currently on the market is decreasing substantially. And at the same time, there is not a dramatic increase in the demand or the amount of sales happening at the same time. So you might be asking, okay, where are these homes going? Where are these sellers going? If there's not that many people out there buying homes, but a lot of sellers are exiting the market, what's going on? And to put it simply, many sellers are just giving up or coming off the market completely because they weren't able to find a buyer for the right price. And the way that we know this is true is by looking at the amount of terminated listings across the board. This chart here is comparing data from 2016 to this year, looking at just terminated listings in the GTA. 2026 is this yellow line here, and we are at the third highest amount of terminated listings in the month of July over the last 10 years. And this isn't too shocking to see because if you've been following for a while, you know that prices are still on their way down. Sellers are really struggling to find a buyer at all, never mind for the right price. So as the market continues to get less favorable for sellers, many of them who are not pressured to sell or desperate to sell are seeing what's going on in the market and said, you know what, we'll just stay where we are. No need to sell. I'm not in a rush. I'll try to wait out what's going on in the market and wait for better prices. The problem then becomes, how long are you willing to wait out for? How long are you able to wait for? A lot of people are needing to renew their mortgages at rates that are way higher than what they had before. So everyone's situation is different, but simply put, if a seller doesn't like the options that are out there when it comes to buyers and offers and they don't need to sell, they'll just terminate their listing, not sell, or even like I've mentioned before, they might just choose to rent out their home and take it off the market for sale altogether. These are all very real factors that are impacting active listings, decreasing and at the same time affecting new listings because sellers are seeing where prices are at and just deciding, you know what, we're not going to sell our home at all this year. We'll wait for the fall or maybe even spring of next year. And the change in prices here is what I'm talking about, where prices are down right now across the GTA 4.5%, which is quite a lot of money when we're taking a look at the average price in the GTA. So it's no surprise that some sellers are just giving up. Over here, we get a better breakdown of the number of sales and average prices across different property types here and the 416 and the 905. Like I mentioned, July isn't a super busy month for the amount of transactions, so this data can be really skewed. For example, semi-detached homes in the 416 are down almost 10%, which is a lot, but there aren't that many semi-detached homes to begin with. So because there's not that many sales of this type of product in the 416, I find this number can really hop up and down. But either way, across the board of all property types and in both areas, prices are most definitely still trending downwards year over year. So if you are someone who's considering to sell your home, it's really important to understand exactly what's going on in the market, because what I tell people right now is that there are many desperate sellers, unfortunately, on the market who need to sell. So unless you are one of those individuals who is very strongly motivated to sell, it's very tough for you to compete with your home against others. And that's why, in my opinion, if you are going to sell right now, you need to really have an honest conversation about how your home stacks up with others, because buyers have so many options out there nowadays and they're going to find the best value. And if you have any hope of selling right now, you really need to stand up from the bunch and lead with value. And on the other hand, if you are a buyer right now, it's super important that you take your time and really find the best value out there on the market, because you do not want to be overpaying for a home especially while prices are still going down. That's all the information I have for you today. But as always, I would love to hear from you. Do you think prices will continue to fall as we're seeing? Or with all of the sellers exiting the market and supply coming down, if we do see a rush or an increase in demand and buyers in the fall, do you think that prices could level off? Let me know what you think in the comments, but if you did have any other specific questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them down below. And lastly, I am a licensed real estate agent who helps clients across the entire GTA. So if you were looking for some very specific advice on your situation, please book a call with me below using the link, and I'd be more than happy to discuss all of your real estate goals in the long term and the short term. Bye for now, and I'll see you on the next one.